Have you ever thought about what is the most obsolete piece of clothing? Personally, to me, I cannot pick up any of my stuff and say this thing doesn't serve any purpose, but I can always look at opposite sex and examine them while they're all dressed up and point at their neckties and say, whoa, this thing doesn't serve any purpose. This is just totally obsolete. Maybe it makes a statement, but it doesn't serve any purpose. Men, while growing up, dressing up for a formal event, think about the purpose of necktie. Or maybe it's something extremely unspeakable, unquestionable, like, the existence of God thing. Or maybe I shouldn't make this analogy of God because that might make me lose some subscribers in future. Because right now, at this part of time when I'm putting up this video, I do not have any subscribers. So I'm not going to lose any. But in future, when people will watch this video and think that, oh my god, this girl is making a god analogy and that is so inappropriate, unsubscribe. Speaking of subscription, you can subscribe to me if you want to, unless you're not offended by the god analogy. Let's get back to the topic. The piece of clothing that men tie around their neck, under the collar, and tied in a very fancy knot, what is it? Is it a neck warmer? Is it a thyroid gland protector? Is it a corporate news? None at all. It is the necktie, which is completely ornamental to the evolution of necktie. Present-day necktie is an evolution of cravat, which can be tracked back in 1630s in France. In 1630, during the 30-year-old French War, King Louis XIII hired certain Croatian soldiers, or to be more specific, mercenaries, who wore this piece of clothing around their neck, which they called cravat, and that was a part of their uniform actually. However, at that time, that cravat had a purpose, which was to fasten the shirt, because there were no buttons, apparently. Though technically, cravats are considered as the origin of neckties, but very similar trends were seen in 221 BC in China and 113 AD in Rome. During King Louis XIV's reign, this cravat became very common fashion in France. Ordinary Frenchmen were spotted wearing these cravats in different designs and fabrics. From France, this fashion of cravat traveled to England, and from England to rest of the world. By 18th century, it was a very common thing which men wore. Cravat is in fact considered to be French for tie. By 1840, the word cravat was replaced by tie. Men started experimenting with the knotting style of the ties. There were literally books published depicting the different tying style of the ties. By 19th century, the tie became more obsolete and thin because the purpose of fastening the shirt was taken over by buttons. Buttons, on the other hand, can be tracked back in Bronze Age and Indus Valley civilization, but they were basically ornamental. They were not used as a fastening device as they were being used in 19th century. As the necktie lost its purpose of fastening the shirt, it gained a symbolic meaning. Neckties have been associated with a lot of things like politeness, civil mannerism, chivalry, social rank, financial success, coming out of age, and most importantly, male sexuality. Why else do you think it's on the cover of 50 Shades of Grey? To me personally, neckties represent power and responsibilities. Let me know, what does necktie symbolize to you in the comments below. There is no piece of clothing that women wear in a symbolic way, but you never know, we might just take neckties from men in future and claim it as a symbol of feminism, our independence and power, like we did with high heels and color pink. Or rather, it'll be covertly incepted into our gender identity by the people who make cultural norms for social and economic benefits. Well, we can make a video on that. If you want me to make a video on that topic, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe so that if I do, you come across that easily.